What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Itz-Beez-Da TrackStar, and welcome back to another dancehall video tutorial. Talk about mastering still. So do the video with FL, we do the video with Ozone. So the last thing we use for master is now we're gonna cover T-Rocks, the suite, not the plugins from IK Multimedia. So we're talking about the standalone suite, right? So I do an instrumental album, right? The Dancehall Scientist album I do. It's about probably 6 to 8 months back, or probably like a year back or so. And the whole album was mastered in T-Rocks, right? So we just go through and show the whole process and how it's different from Ozone and, you know, FL Studio and all of that. Which mastering is the same process for me because I approach it the same way. I do things in a kind of the same order, but different software offer different tools. So let's get this off of the screen and I go open up the file what we use for master the track. So we have the T-Rocks file here. So let's open up first. Let's open up T-Rocks. Doesn't matter how fuck. So T-Rocks 5 is the one I use. Yeah. So when you open up T-Rocks for the first time, anytime you open it, it'll go load up with this plugin by the name One. It's a mastering processor. There have a lot of different things in there, right? We're not really interested in that, cool? So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna load the T-Rocks file. I believe this is the T-Rocks file right here when we use to master the whole album. So yeah, this is it. So let's right click, we'll go open with. So we can get this open. I'll choose T-Rocks, always. Okay, cool. Now that changed. So it should open the project inside of T-Rocks, and then we can break down a couple of different tracks from inside of there. Just to kind of give you an idea of the whole mastering process or whatever. You know what I mean? So like I say, every software I got different, every software I got offer up something different, you know, what the others don't have. So T-Rocks, a lot of the plugins are modeled after old school classic plugins and all of that. So they will have some stuff where Waves might not have, or, you know, Ozone might not have, you know, but everything have a unique way and a unique approach. So I'll go through a couple of tracks inside of this. The whole album was 32 tracks long, and we mastered, like I say, everything. You can see the whole track list. Everything was mastered inside a T-Rocks. So let's play a nice up tempo. We'll look at track. We'll go to white gold. Alright, there we go. So if we press Control and I believe 2, we can switch to the waveform view. Here we go. So let's go back to the top. And you can see the chain one we use. Now we have an EQ first, bus compressor, imager, EQ, limiter. So that right there, so without all of the processing. You know what I mean? And we have let's go through a couple of other tracks before we break it down. So let's do All-Star Freak. And as you can see, every chain is different. No, EQ, compressor, imager, EQ, limiter. But that's just to show every chain is different, you understand what I'm saying? But as it's similar. So let's kind of break it down and go through everything, right? So I'll pick a track we don't hear it. Let's do Dancehall Darkest, right? So the very first thing is an EQ, and what we do is we do some type of, you know, we do some corrective stuff. First, we filter out everything below 36, you know what I mean, which stay consistent with everything else I'm gonna do. That's always the first thing I'm gonna do. Always filter out the stuff we don't need. Never really feel like me need to filter the top end, you know what I mean? That wasn't so much of an issue with this track, so I never do that. And what we don't do is we don't turn off everything and turn them on one by one as we go through the track. Cool. So let's go back over here. So like I say, EQ first. Let's turn that off and play the track. You know what I mean? So when we engage the EQ, we just clean up all of the mud. You understand what I said? That's all we do. We clean up the mud. Then because I feel like the track was a little bit too central, you understand what I say? I'm going to widen it out. Instead of typically, I would go into a compressor. Because I feel like the track did need a little bit of width. I go into an imager and then I go into a compressor, you know what I mean? So this is without the imager. And if you turn it on, you know, just notice how the track open up and come wide. Before, after. Especially the harp. Listen to the harp. You know, the harp just come forward and, you know, get a little bit clearer. And the fact that this is a multi-band imager, you know, we have 4 different bands that we can choose from. So we widen out the whole of the top and narrow down the low end, you understand? Out of that, we go into a compressor. Now, typically we go into a bus compressor. In this situation, yeah, we just go into, you know, something more vintage, something tubey. Because we feel like this did suit when I have a guan more so than putting the bus compressor there. So you understand what I say? So we end up going with the 670. Now, if we turn it on and look on what I do, it's doing what we call gluing the track together. Basically, you only compress about a dB or 2. You not really drive the compressor too hard. You just compress. You really just get the color. You know what I mean? I get the saturation out of the unit. You not really try compress the signal. You try add a tone to the music. So let's turn it off. So this is before. And that after. You know, it just make the low end tighter, meaning that it kind of make the low end a little bit more pronounced. You know, it bring it forward a little bit more, right? Out of the compressor, we got into an EQ. And this now is more of a surgery type of thing, you understand what I say? Because you can see all of the little notch them, you understand? We could have do this with a parametric EQ as well, but I choose to do this, you know, with the linear phase or with the, you know, more analogish, you know, type of EQ as opposed to like a digital parametric EQ like this. Not saying it couldn't do it, but I just did feel like this will give me a lot more of what I did look for. So let's play and then engage that. So that before. Listen to the hi-hats. You know, and like I said, we are correct certain stuff. So let's take a look on all of them points and see what we are correct. So this first one at 2 right here, or boost instead of cut. So we'll boost by 4.9. Yeah, hear that? Let's play back. Let's go boost all of the points that we cut out and see exactly what we have fixed up. You know, so that's all of the nastiness what we are get rid of out of the track. You know, just disgusting, you know, so we cut all of that, you know. And like I said, I feel like this EQ just did offer me a little bit more than what I could have get out of the regular parametric EQ here. Not to say that the parametric EQ sucks, because me use it in every single one of them I want to do. You understand? So just to feel like this was better suited for do what me do want to do. So let's correct this thing here. Hold on. All of a sudden, through my left hand come back, it get rid of all of my undo. So let me pause this and correct everything. All right. So after that, you know, I feel like everything was going good, but me did want to kind of compress a little bit more, kind of really bring the track back together, because if you look on this EQ, also my boost, you understand? So once you start add, you still want to contain all of the movement. So because I add a little bit more to the top end, then I use the compressor now to smooth it off and bring it back in at the flow. This time I use the bus compressor, and it's rare that you will see a bus compressor before a limiter, you understand what I say? But just because I feel like this needed some form of compression to bring back the track into weight when we didn't want it to sit, use the bus compressor. Love the version of the bus compressor. You have a couple of different companies who make them. I think we talk about this in the very first video I do about mastering in FL Studio in the advanced video. We talk about the Waves SSL bus compressor, the Plugin Alliance version of the SSL bus compressor, the Cytomic version of the buses, the SSL bus compressor. But forget to mention the IK Multimedia version. It's another good version of that very same bus compressor. And them all unique, them all serve different purpose. So let's turn this on now and see what I do. So this is the before.
Itz-Beez-Da TrackStar.
In. And I just notice how it bring up the track. Just add some energy, inject some energy into the track. And then lastly, of course, we have a limit, and this is now just for bringing levels all the way up. And self-explanatory with the limiter. Always the same settings: slowest attack, fastest release. The ceiling for this album as a whole was minus 0.4. That's when I set the ceiling to for everything. So 2.7 was what I feel like we need for add as far as gain, so we can get it up to minus 0.4. And then everything else was just, like I said, just self-explanatory. The style, it's hard to explain the style, but it's basically characters. It make the compressor move different. Like you have different modes where you can switch through. We just feel like say clean was just the best one for using in this situation, so we just roll with that. But yeah, that's basically it. That's basically how this whole project come together inside of in T-Rocks. Could have mastered it in anything, but we just didn't want to keep the project consistent. Keep the sound of the project consistent by using the same tools if we go through the whole project. So even though the individual tracks might feature a newer plugin, here and there, basically the sound of the project was all via T-Rocks. Everything on this project was via T-Rocks. And I'm going to include a link in the description to the whole entire album, so you can check it out. And it's also available on every streaming platform. So if you want to check it out there, so instead of YouTube, so you can hear it in the purest form, and instead of the compressed audio or YouTube have, you can check that out as well on our streaming platforms. We put some links in the description for all of that. So yeah, man, until next time, it's your boy Itz-Beez-Da TrackStar. Hopefully me kind of, in them last 4 videos, I shed some light into the whole mastering process. Hopefully I understand a little bit more. Till then, peace. Yeah, I'm painting a picture. TrackStar.
Yeah.
chilling in the field. So much ice on my wrist, my kinda feel frozen still. Man, I have to do the killing, even if I do the kill. Just look on him the wrong way, and one of the thugs, them I get him. Yeah. But right now, I be a pretty girl up on ya. Cuban girl from Havana, in the back of the liquor on ya. Bust it on me, got stamina. Any mix with dry ramina. Done me the round one and round two, ready for running, oh yeah. Anywhere I'm gonna use my face card. Used to run the road, them real hard. Nigga can't even two steer right. If me look back at dogs, them a tearing face off. We don't really give a fuck, bro. Money in the pocket, yeah, the door. My dogs know how fi bust clock too. And if a gal come round me, I fuck that door. We don't really give a fuck, bro. Money in the pocket, yeah, the door. My dogs know how fi bust clock too. And if a gal come round me, I fuck that door.